You're on.
Thank you for coming to the member forum today, and thank you for tuning in at 10, 2, and 4 today if you're watching this from home. We have twice the crowd that signed up, which is wonderful. First, our sales report. We have 29 sales to date. We have 25 that have closed, and most of those have moved in. And we have one more to close in August, 2 in September, and one scheduled for November. Currently, we have 2 homes for sale. One is a Hatteras, which is the 2-bedroom villa. It's a great design. And one acetate cottage on Spruce Court. Listing soon, we'll have 2 more Hatterases and one St. Augustine veranda. We have several projects in progress or near beginning. The road work on the cul-de-sac of Spruce Court, pruning back root intrusion, is in progress. So that'll be a smooth turn if you're going around there too fast. It will not be as bumpy as it has been. We also are beginning the work on the multi-purpose court. As most of you will know, we have doubled the size of the putting green that we had there before, which will also allow for bocce and croquet. So it'll be about twice the size as the court now. We've already removed the trees, and they'll be starting on that in early September. So that's exciting. I know one thing that you've all been waiting for is when is the refurbishment going to start? And that will be starting mid-September. We have been in action on that, completing all of the architectural drawings, etc. The third week in September, we'll be removing all the art in the villa hallways and preparing to paint and removing some of the lighting that will be replaced with new lighting. So that'll be going on. And then beginning early October, we'll begin to move and replace signs, paint, prepare the walls before painting, and change out the lighting. And then the carpet will be coming in around November. Yes, and early December we'll be installing carpet, and then it'll just be the furniture replacement, which may be delayed but has already been ordered. But the lead time on that is a little longer than most people would like. So we possibly can get that on time so that we can move it in. If not, we'll replace the old furniture for a while and then wait till the new furniture gets here. The latest the new furniture is anticipated will be March, but we're hoping, I'm an optimist, that it'll be earlier than that. Also, at the same time, we are working on the clubhouse. The carpet has been measured and ordered for the clubhouse. The carpet for the villas is already in storage. We have reviewed the sculpture and have made a few changes in that. Furniture, fabrics, and materials are ordered, and redesign of both bars has been completed. So they have ordered the furniture, fixture, and equipment for all those areas, and so that should all be complete by October. So things are rolling along here quickly at a snail's pace, and we look forward to that happening very soon. Our financial status at this point, we had a great month in July, surplus of about $20,000, which was $35,000 better than anticipated in the budget. And then year to date, we have a deficit of $47,000, which is $8,000 favorable to the budget, so better than anticipated. So we should come out pretty much on budget. Also, our reserve fund is now at $2,880,000, which is about the largest reserve. I think we have had 2.9 was the largest we ever had, which happened in June. Our expenditures planned are favorable by $277,000, and that really is timing. We will be spending those. So at this point, we have almost $3 million in the reserve. We're anticipating the entire refurbishment project to be around $3.5 million, and we put about $1.2 million in every year from your monthly service fees, which is a little over 10%. So those are rolling along smoothly. We have begun the budget process for 2023. We're looking at any projects that will be necessary, including air conditioner replacement, water heater replacement, deck and window replacement, which is ongoing, and those type of things. So we'll be ready also for the refurbishment. We're probably going to spend about $1.5 million out of the reserve for the refurbishment next year, which we have plenty to do that with. Also, the 2021 audited financial statement is in, and we had a surplus for last year of $42,000. So the next board meeting, the board will be reviewing the audited statement. Before that, in the next Finance Committee and board meeting, they'll be making a decision on the use of that surplus. Typically, it'll go in the reserve. It can go to operations as well. So it typically, like I said, goes to the reserve because that's the best place for it. We do have some other projects going on. The sod replacement, we are looking at what is needed most, what areas are needed most, and then what areas are needed next. And so the landscape committee will be reviewing that and is reviewing it and making some decisions on what is most important and kind of the pace of that project. It's about $18,000 a truckload, and so we'll kind of spread that out over as necessary. And that'll start in the fall after we find out how much grass we really have, because it has repaired in some areas and gotten worse in some areas. So we'll be looking at that one as well. And a brand new project that I had an idea about the other day, and I've talked to the board of directors and I've talked to the executive committee, is to expand and enlarge the gazebo, to widen it so that it is ADA compliant, and to make the end of the gazebo about 5 times as large, so about 30 people can use that for entertainment, etc. So our plan is right now to take a look at a large octagonal or hexagonal end on it with a roof and fans so it can be a functional activity area for us. We're in the very early stages of that, talking to the Barrier Island Marine contractors and Department of Health and Environmental Control and the Department of Natural Resources. So we're doing the legwork on that presently. We also will use as a product that permanent planking, which is, I think, a fiberglass-based product, so you won't need painting and replacement pretty much ever. I know at my house I have some that's 25 years old and you can't tell a thing. As long as you use stainless steel screws, you're good to go. So that one's an exciting one and has a lot of opportunities to jump hurdles in the future. So I can think of about 5. I will need to talk to the Building and Grounds Committee, the Finance Committee, the Board of Directors, and V. So it was an idea I had the other day when we were talking about placing picnic tables in different areas, that really is the way to resolve that in a really nice open area rather than cutting out little areas and putting a picnic table and putting a path to it and that kind of thing. That this is really a great way to get us out there on the water, which is the goal of those kind of things. So I'm excited about it. If you have any feedback about it, please let me know. I hadn't heard any negatives on it yet, but I'm willing to accept them. So that'll be going on. We do have a lot going on in September, starting out with the Labor Day picnic. We have trivia. We'll have a theme dinner on the 7th. We have the Alligator Jazz Band coming up, Tide Point Talks, birthday luncheon, Wind Down Wednesday, Couples Bridge, high tea on the 20th, and vintage fashion show, and also a Oktoberfest luncheon on the 27th, and then we'll end it up with an insurance forum on Friday, the 30th. As you know, Diane Schreiber, the insurance person for V, was here recently, and some of the people in the audience just wanted to talk about their policy and what should be covered there. And so Jay Finch has arranged to have at least 3 agents who are local agents come in and talk about your coverage with you. So that should be a really good one. I'll be glad to talk to you about any of it in the meantime, but I will always recommend you talk to your agent. So we'll have some agents to talk to here as well. There may be some overlapping coverage in your policy, which I don't know if it'll benefit you to point that out to your agent or not, but it's worth a try. So that'll be what's going on in September. And then October 10th, we will have the member satisfaction survey, which we haven't had in 4 years. We've always done it every other year. And during COVID, it was postponed because nobody knew what the world was going to be like. So that will be going on October 10th. And we welcome you to tell us what you think about what we're doing and how you like living here, and what you like and what you don't like. And this year it will all be done online. If you have an email and we have your email, it'll be sent to you via email, and you can do it on your telephone or your home computer or tablet, etc. If you don't have that, we'll have some days set up where we will have tablets and people to help as you do it online, but there'll be no paper this time. And it allows our results to come in at the same day. It really happens in almost real time. So that's pretty exciting. You'll be hearing a lot about it all of September. Joy is tasked with making sure that everybody knows every detail about it in advance. And so we're looking forward to that, and to knowing what you like, what you don't like, what we can improve and any other great ideas you have. You don't have to wait till October to tell us. You can tell us every day, any day. So we appreciate that as well. So, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Will there be a handicap restroom at the gazebo?
You know what? The question is, will there be a handicap restroom at the gazebo? And I think that's very important to consider. I do. I will add that in.
And I have one other question.
Okay.
Being a newbie, I was told that the Sunday buffet will never come back, although I was told that was one of the most wonderful things you ever had. And the second thing was that the breakfasts in the club room were marvelous, but no, they'll never come back. And I thought, well, if like 80% of the residents ask for something, will it be considered? Or is there something that I don't know about that's in a constitution that says, no, this will never happen?
Okay, the question is, will the Sunday buffet ever return? And will the breakfast in the club room return? And what we have found, first I'll answer the easy one. Breakfast is actually much better served in the casual dining room. There are a few people who are hanging on to that because it used to be very communal, where people would eat together with large tables. Now people are doing that again. I know on Saturday there's probably a group of 16 who put 2 tables together and are having a great time. So the casual dining room has actually afforded more people to eat together, and it is starting to work. There are people who eat at a table of 4 who have mentioned going back to the club room where everybody ate together, and I have asked them to move to a larger table. They haven't. Okay. We'll be doing a lot of remodeling. We'll see how that goes. Right now, the club room is a dark kind of area for breakfast, and people are having fun in that in the casual dining room. Like I said, it's a fond memory to some people, and they'll tell you how great it was there, but it's pretty great where it is now. When I see those tables of 8 and 10 people at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's very encouraging to me.
Tom, you're absolutely right. I wasn't talking about the sociability of it. I was talking about, I think you could just jump up and get yourself a cup of coffee, and maybe that could just be brought into the dining room where you could get your coffee.
Okay, are you having a problem getting coffee?
Well, no, that's all right. That's all right.
If you're having a problem getting coffee, I'll make sure you don't. But the self-service piece is much less sanitary. Okay? So I do not see the return of that, which would lead me to the buffet. Buffets are not sanitary. Where did norovirus start? Okay? Cruise ships, where people are all over each other with the food. There's 2 things about buffets. First, they're not sanitary. You have multiple people with multiple hands in it and at it. A spoon could be touched by 200 people. If you have people serve it, it becomes a cafeteria. It's not going to be what you imagined in the past was great, but it spreads disease. And so when we removed it immediately when COVID started, it was because there's potential of disease. And I can tell you the fond memories of it have escalated when it's not available. So, it wasn't always the most glorious thing. It was as good as we could do and pretty cool, But things like salad bars, omelet station, food buffets are very unsanitary. And I think this disease situation, people kind of ignored norovirus, which was horrible. but whole places shut down as a result of it. You know, somebody would come back from a cruise and then spread norovirus. We have been very fortunate that we've never had a bout with that, but many retirement communities have. And then COVID, of course, is a great example of how well-meaning people spread diseases easily. We currently have 10 people here who are positive and another 10 or 12 that have been exposed. So we're trying to be really careful about that. And just a personal thing about buffets, after the first person goes through, it doesn't look great. You know, it's kind of a concept of more food. You know, I can get whatever I want and I can get as much as I want. We still have Bloody Marys, mimosas, etc. We can make a better omelet in the kitchen than out in the rotunda where we would ruin brand new carpet. So those are some of the reasons that I am not in favor of a buffet returning. I'm not going to say it never will, but I can say I'm not in favor of it at all. I think you can have a great Sunday. You can get together with Bloody Marys and mimosas and have a great time without standing in line with a plate. Okay? That's my feeling on it. Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. The first one is, you mentioned several things in the budget for next year and for this year, and I'd like to know if the fire alarm system on the bridge between the 300 and the 500 building are in the budget, and when are they? Is that going to be replaced?
Okay. That should be replaced in 2023, if not sooner. You're talking about the panel that goes off frequently? Yeah.
Yes, that's a good word.
Right.
And since I live right by there,
I understand
I
it.
have a vested interest in that replacement.
Yeah, and that'll be replaced either this year or first of next year.
I like it to be considered sooner than later.
Okay.
You know, as the finance committee, kind of weighs things.
Yeah.
And I think you can also look at what it costs us to bring people from Charleston to fix it all the time.
Right.
What kind of expense is that versus replacement, now.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't gone off for a month. So.
I was going to say.
I'm hopeful. The other
Okay.
thing is,
Just so everybody at home knows what we're talking about is part of the fire alarm system that is in the connector between the 501 building and the 301 building that has a bad habit of going off more frequently than we know. It has been repaired, but it is time for replacement, and we'll make sure that that happens.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second question that I have, and I don't know, I hear a lot of chatter about it, is not only the quality of the food, but the heated source of the food. So I understand the omelet can be made better in the kitchen, and we certainly don't want it on the new carpet. I get that. However, oftentimes the food is not even warm when it's received by the residents. And I think some, I don't know, a study, people being honest about it, the food has deteriorated in the 2.5 years my husband and I have lived here. And then to be served either lukewarm or cold is the reason that we don't go to the dining room. And I don't think it should be that way. I don't think it should be that difficult. I've been to the dining committee, I've met with the chef, and then back to the infection control issues. When I watch the servers in the dining room, and I do have an infection control background, they are serving people food, they are making up tables, and they are removing food, and I don't see any hand hygiene stations anywhere. So my question is, that cross-contamination could be spread. I don't know if it is, but certainly that's what happened on the cruise ships with the norovirus.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it happening in our own dining room.
Well, for those at home, this is a pretty long question. there are concerns about the temperatures of food, but I'm also hearing that you don't eat in the dining room.
Not much.
So there are concerns about the temperatures of food, which we will work to correct. There is a heater on the line so that when the food is put up, right as it's prepared, it should stay warm. If it's not, we need to know immediately. The second is on contamination. There are hand washing stations throughout the kitchen. We do have hand washing stations pretty much all over the place, and our employees are trained to take care of that, and I'm proud to say we've never had norovirus or any serious spread from employees during the COVID. So that is a great concern of ours, is to be careful with our staff contributing to any spread of a disease. On the heating, we will continue to work on that. I'm not sure why that would happen.
I was told that the heating units are old.
We'll replace them if they're old. I mean, I have not heard that they're not functioning.
It's just,
But if they're not functioning properly, they'll be replaced. That's what we do with any equipment.
Right.
None of our equipment suffers.
yeah. And I understand that, but it's just there's so much chatter about the food everywhere.
Well,
You know, it's
I can understand chatter about the food in recent week. Our chef has not been here for about 4 weeks, and he has about 5 more weeks to go. Okay. Our staff is stepping up. We have some other chefs coming in, some retired chefs that are going to come in and help us and keep that standard up. What I am seeing from comment cards and the e-comments is still very favorable. Okay. Chatter is one thing, but if we can document it, it's really great. If we can say 10 people, even 4 people thought this was cold. If 2 people say something is burned, we go back and do a thorough examination and a training of anybody that may have happened to. Okay, which did recently happen last Sunday with ribs. Okay, the ribs were not cooked properly. They were overcooked, but not cooked properly. As we know, pork should be cooked slowly and thoroughly, and that was a mistake that's done, and they are training right now to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So we do have a process if we get a complaint. If we get third-hand chatter, it's really hard for us to work with it because we need it to be specific. Okay, we can fix anything that is specific. And as far as heating elements go in the kitchens, there's no problem with them at all. I mean, I can go put my hand under it right now. Yes, sir.
You probably know what my question's going to be.
I have no idea, Mr. Paulus, what your question will be.
In the 301-501, when are we going to get back to fire drills? We have 293 people at Tad Point, based on the most recent directory. And most of them are new people. A lot of them are new people. And we don't have fire drills anymore.
Okay, the question was, when are we going to have a fire drill? And I will make sure we have one in the middle of the night in the next 30 days.
I didn't hear that.
We will make sure we'll have one soon. Yes, sir, Mr. Wiles.
Build on this a bit and go back to the buffet. We've got a lot of new people. The buffet was one of the times we really socialized. We met new people. We got to know people. Right now, you go down to the dining room on Sunday, you don't get anybody new. We're all together. We've always been. But the socialization part of Tide Point is very important to keep on top of, and particularly as we have a lot of new people coming.
Okay, the concern is that socialization can only occur with a buffet.
Not only, but it's one of the better ones.
That when there was a buffet, people were more festive or inviting. Okay. I understand the perception. Okay, but I don't understand how walking around with a plate makes you more social, particularly when you may have to put it on a walker or a scooter. I have been battling with that one in my mind is how does the sociability increase by going through putting food on a plate that can't exist when we still have mimosas, Bloody Marys, open rotunda, etc., and the opportunity to speak to people anytime. I really am struggling with that. I've heard that concern before about how it used to be, and let's remind ourselves that we have been through a pandemic which just caused the opposite of what our lifestyle is. You know, our lifestyle has always been very inclusive and festive and enjoyable. We're trying our best to get back to that safely.
Well, let's do the things we did before the
Well,
pandemic.
I'm sure there are fond memories of things that may or may not happen again. And, tell us on the survey. Tell us on the survey. I mean, there are people who've never experienced the buffet here who are very happy.
Well, just compare, just go down on Sunday and ask whether there's a difference.
Oh, I'm sure it is different. I'm sure
Everybody.
the perceived traffic is really different.
It's not perceived, it's real.
Well, it depends if you were here before or you were here after. It's different. That's perception. Ms. Macarello.
Yes, I really appreciate the comments and the answers on the food quality, etc. I have a question in my mind, and I think probably others do as well. How is this going to be handled when the dining rooms are redone? We have formal and casual, and we have a time period when we can eat. But what will happen when one dining room is closed for redoing?
Okay.
Where will we all go?
Okay. Ms. Macarello had a great question. When the refurbishment starts and we begin to work on one dining room or another, where will we eat and experience our dining? And we did this back in 2008 and 2009, and it really became a lot of fun. We will use the ballroom as one of the areas. Say we're working on the casual dining room. We'll set up the ballroom for dining for the casual dining room. And it became so popular that people didn't want to move out of the ballroom because it was just a different experience and they had a lot of fun with it. So the question was, what are we going to do when we're in the refurbishment? And we will move things around like you can't imagine to make sure that you continue to do whatever you have been doing in some fashion. So before, the key to the dining room renovation was when we're working on the casual dining room moves in here. When we move to the formal dining room eats in here, and then we'll do the ballroom last.
Thank you, I knew it had to be figured out.
Yep, and we did it successfully 13 years ago. And it really, like I said, it became a lot of fun. different people sitting in different areas, kind of like the switch from the club room to the casual dining room. It did take us a little while for people to decide to be social, but now we have some great large tables that people are joining. And like I said, there's as many as 16 or 18 people together before yoga on Saturdays. And then regularly, every day, there's probably 8 to 10 people eating at a big table around 9 o'clock. So if you come at 7:30, you may think there's only a few people there, but there's a window of about 3 hours for people to eat in the breakfast room. And a gathering time has evolved from you that there's a great time to be there is 9 o'clock when it's very festive.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else for the good of the group? Thank you for coming. I have one joke that some of you heard, the first 4 people heard, and that is, what did the ocean say when the tide came in? Long time no see. What do you call a frog that is illegally parked? Toad. Thank you for coming. We'll be at 10, 2, and 4 today on the information channel.
Yes, we do.